Student, all is well. This is Shahnaz Ansari, your social science teacher, and today I am going to teach you chapter 3. Why do we need of parliament? So let's start the chapter with the important points which we are going to be discussed in this part. We will discuss on introduction and types of democratic government. How many types of democratic government we will discuss, and why should people decide? Why should people decide about their government? People and their representative. Who are the representative and how the people choose them? The parliament and the Lok Sabha, and the formation of the government. What is the procedure of the formation of the government, and last the prime minister and the council of this minister. In this part last we will discuss on the prime ministers and the council of the minister. So let's start the chapter with the full details. But before just have a look on this map which shows the different types of government in the different parts of the world. Start from the democracy or parliamentary democracy, which is shows with green color. Canada, India, Australia, and this some parts of the Europe. Next is mixed democracy or semi-presidential. Mixed democracy and semi-presidential is shows with light blue color. You can see in Africa and some parts of Europe. And next, presidential democracy. Presidential democracy, for presidential democracy we use blue color. Blue color you can see in the most part of the America. That is having which type of government? Presidential democracy. Yellow color shows royal dictatorship. You can see in the Saudi Arabia. And next is civilian dictatorship. Civilian dictatorship, for civilian dictatorship we use orange color. We can see the most part of the Asia and the south part of the Africa. So which type of government here? Civilian dictatorship. And military dictatorship. Military dictatorship, the north part of the Africa is having civilian dictatorship. So this all were about the different types of government in the different part of the world. Students, in this chapter we will get to know about some of the functions of the Indian Parliament. As Indians, we all are proud of the fact that our country is a democracy. So we will discuss the idea of parliamentary democracy, and we will try to understand the relation between ideas of individual participating in the process of decision making and a democratic government need to have the consent of the country's citizen. These two elements are crucial in making a stable democracy. These are best expressed through the institution of parliament. Students, do you know there are two types of democratic government? First is parliamentary system and presidential system. Under the parliamentary system, citizens elect legislature, and from the legislature they select the executive. And under the presidential system, citizens elect executive and legislature. So these are the two types of democratic government, parliamentary system and presidential system. Now, what is parliamentary system? In a parliamentary form of government, the parliament is the supreme and it represents the people. The legislature in the center is called the parliament or Sansad. So the central government is called the parliament or Sansad. For example, India has a parliamentary form of government. In this system, the prime minister is the real head of the government. She is the leader of the majority party in the parliament. The prime minister chooses the minister from among the party to form the council ministers. The president is the nominal head of the state. So under the parliamentary system, president is the nominal head of the state. People do not directly elect the president. The executive of council of minister is a part of legislature or the parliament. This is because all of them are also the members of the parliament. So in this way there is proper coordination between the legislature and the executive. The parliament has full control over the government. If the prime minister loses the majority in the parliament, the government has to resign. So this is about the parliamentary system. Now next is presidential form of government. In the presidential form of government, the president is both the real and nominal head of the state. There is no prime minister in the presidential form of government. So there is no prime minister. There is no role of prime minister in the presidential form of government. The president is directly elected by the people. She is not responsible to the legislature. That is, the executive is not a part of the legislature. So in the presidential form of government, the executive is not a part of the legislature. The parliament has no control over the president because she cannot easily be removed during his period. United States USA is an example of presidential form of government, and France, Argentina, Kenya also are the example of presidential form of government. Student, now a question arises, why should people decide and why do we need parliamentary form of government? So, bitter experience from the past. We will understand this sentence like during the British rule, whenever the people of India tried to protest against British, they faced grave danger in the form of severe punishment. But after the freedom movement started, the situation started changing on a small scale. The Indian nationalists started criticizing the British government and making demands. As the colonial government did not allow the people of our country to make decisions, therefore, after taking part in the freedom movement on a large scale, the citizens became aware of this fact that in independent India, they would be able to participate in decision making. Once the country became independent, the government tried to remain sensitive to the demands of people. The dreams of a common Indian citizen became true after the Indian Constitution laid down the rules universal adult franchise, where each citizen above the age of 18 got right to vote. Thus, there is need for parliamentary form of government because parliament is the real representative institution of the people. Now, people and their representative. A democratic country's takeoff is the idea of consent. It means that government consider the participation, desire and approval of people before taking any decision. So, consent means desire and approval of the people before taking a decision. So, it is clear that before taking decision, the government has to take the approval or consent of the people for any decision. What people have decided creates a democratic government and how it is going to function for the next 5 years. An individual provides his approval to a government by voting. So how the people providing their approval? They are providing their approval by the voting in the election. It means when people elect his representative by voting to give consent to work on the behalf of him or take decision on the behalf of him. So once the representative who have been elected by the people became MP, members of parliament, one group of such MP comes together to form a government. The parliament is made up of the representatives who together do the job of controlling and guiding a government. So what is the work of representative? To do the work together and control and guiding the government. So here people via their chosen MPs control the government as well. So student, as we know that our country has a parliamentary form of government, and a parliament consists President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So now we will understand what is parliament. What is parliament? The law-making body of the center is called parliament. So the central government which is making the law, that is called parliament. It is the main function of the parliament to make the law. It comprises the president and the two houses, Rajya Sabha, that is called Council of the State, which is upper house, and the Lok Sabha, House of the People, which is the lower house. A legislature that has two houses is called bicameral legislature. The members of this house is referred as members of parliament, that is MPs. As we know that parliament consists Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and president. So first we will understand about the Lok Sabha. What is Lok Sabha? Members of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people. So those people, those who are going to the Lok Sabha or those who are members of the Lok Sabha, actually they are elected by the people of India. And the maximum numbers of members in the Lok Sabha can be 552. Out of this 552, 530 are elected from different state and 20 from union territories. At present, the total strength of Lok Sabha is 545. That number you have to be remembered. At present, the total strength of Lok Sabha is 545. Out of these, 543 are elected and 2 are nominated by the President. Now we will see the election procedure of Lok Sabha. Each state and union territory is divided into various constituencies. Constituency means an area from where a group of voters elect a representative to a legislative body. So there is one representative elected from each constituency. Citizens of India who are the age of 18 years and above have right to vote through EVM machine. So who is having right to vote? The citizen of India, those who are 18 years and above have to right to vote. And how they are giving their vote? By the EVM machine. In addition, the President of India can nominate two members belonging to Anglo-Indian community when if it does not have adequate representation in the Lok Sabha. Now let's understand the qualification for its member. For the members of the Lok Sabha, what are the qualifications? So first, he and she must be a citizen of India. Next, he or she should not be less than 25 years of age. So he or she must be 25 years of age. And he or she should not be a salaried government employed. He or she should not be a salaried government employed. He or she should not be a government employee. He or she should not be mentally unsound. He and she should be physical and mentally fit. He and she should not be proclaimed criminal. That is, they should not be convicted from debtors. And last, his or her name should in the electoral roll in any part of the country. Means her name should be in the voter list of the state from which he or she is seeking election. Now understand about the term. So the term of the Lok Sabha is 5 years from the date of its meeting. This term can be extended by 1 year at the time of emergency, but it cannot be extended beyond 6 months after the emergency ends. And the Lok Sabha can be dissolved even before its full term of 5 years, but it can be dissolved by the President on the advice of the PM or Prime Minister. Now, do you know that the Lok Sabha was dissolved in 1917, 1979, 1991, 1997 and 1999 because the government lost its majority or the confidence of the House and no other party could form the government. The term of the 5th Lok Sabha 1971 was extended by emergency was declared. Now let's understand who is presiding officer or who is in charge of Lok Sabha. The member of Lok Sabha elect a speaker and a deputy speaker from among themselves. The speaker preside over the session of Lok Sabha. So the speaker is the in charge of the Lok Sabha. He or she keeps the house in order. At present, Mr. Birla, he is from BJP party since 19 June 2019, is the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now we will understand about the formation of the government. What is the procedure of formation of the government? The candidate who gets the greatest number of the voter in a constituency becomes the representative of the constituency in the Lok Sabha. Once the Lok Sabha election get over, a list is prepared which shows how many MPs each political party has. After the election, they have to give a list in which they have to show how many MP each political party has. If the political party wishes to form the union government, it needs to have a majority of MP in the House. Those who want to form their government, so they must have a majority of MPs in the House. So there are 543 elected members in the Lok Sabha. To form a government, a political party needs to have at least half of the seats, that is 272 or more members should be from the party. So the party which want to be form the government, they should have more than half MPs should be from that party. That is the number is 272. If no party wins a majority of the seats, the president invites two or more parties to form a government with the support of other parties. Such a government is called a coalition government. In other words, at times no political party gets a majority in the Lok Sabha. In such a case, different political parties of similar concern make a temporary alliance to form the government. Such type of government is known as coalition government. In Hindi, we use the term Gadbandhan. We have heard lots of time Gadbandhan word. The political party which has the second largest number of the seat in the House plays the role of opposition party against the ruling party. What is opposition party? The second largest political party. The second largest number of seat party is called the opposition party. So it was about the formation of government. Now we will understand about the Prime Minister. Who is Prime Minister? The leader of the ruling party in the Lok Sabha is the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister selects minister for different departments from the groups of MP from his ruling party. They work under the PM to implement different decisions. Who work under the PM? The different department ministers. These ministers are in charge of different areas such as finance minister, health minister, education minister and many more. It is the Prime Minister whose advice other ministers are appointed or dismissed by the President. So, the burden of the success or failure of the government lies on the shoulder of Prime Minister. Now we have discussed on the Prime Minister, we have understood about the Prime Minister. Now let's discuss on the Council of Ministers. What is Council of Ministers? The Council of Ministers work in a close cooperation under the leadership of the Prime Minister. The Council of Ministers, an advisory body, is appointed by the President on the advice of PM. There are three ranks of minister in the council, that is cabinet minister hold the highest rank. The cabinet minister hold the highest rank and followed by the ministers of the state. Cabinet minister followed by the minister of the state and the deputy ministers. The Council of Ministers is a large body which meets occasionally. The cabinet is a small and cohesive group which meets regularly. The members of the cabinet are consulted by the Prime Minister on every important issue. The cabinet generally consists of senior minister holding a cabinet rank and important portfolios. So Prime Minister may be consulted every important issue with the cabinet minister. Maybe Prime Minister cannot consult with the Council of Ministers for taking any important decision, but he may be consulted with the cabinet ministers. In day-to-day governance of the country, it is the cabinet that advise the presidents also. But remember that the Council of Ministers works as a team, which means the ministers are collectively responsible to the parliament. If one of the loses the confidence of parliament, the entire council of ministers has to resign. That you have to remember. If one of them loses the confidence of parliament, that entire council of ministers has to resign. So these all were about the council of ministers. So students, I hope you have understood very well about the parliament or parliamentary system. Now just take a fast recall what we have learned in this part. So we have seen the introduction, we have seen two types of democratic government, parliamentary form and presidential form, and we have discussed why people should decide, why do we need parliamentary form of government, and who are the people and their representatives, and we have seen what is parliament and the what parliament consists. Parliament consists Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President. We have discussed on Lok Sabha, we have discussed on formation of government, how the parties form the government, and last we have seen who is the Prime Minister and its and the Council of Ministers. So I hope you have understood. In the next part, we will discuss about the Rajya Sabha. Now it's time to say goodbye. So thank you for watching my video. Bye. Take care.